hip hop, hip hop, yeah, hip hop, hip bars is back, hip hop, SamAnt O'God, what's up with you? I done watched them niggas do interview after interview. They not culture vultures, the culture something they been into. So if you never gave them a view, I recommend you do. Cause when they question guests, they message is not subliminal.
And then also white. So I didn't know what that even meant. Because each role said Caucasian, then the next one said white. And then if it was an opportunity for a black man, that's when there was a role that seemed to be homosexual or something that is displayed as weakness to me, like sometimes, because it seems like sometimes the narrative is still painted that strong black, like male anyway, is not normally the depiction. Usually if we're strong, we might be a criminal, we might be something like that. That narrative, just like the same narrative we deal with in real life, exists in Hollywood. So sometimes it's very hard. It's disappointing to see some of the things that goes on, like in what it is. It has been a difficult thing. At the same time, it's been an easy thing, because whether we think about it or not, we are one of the most copied and beloved race on the planet, even though we're not told that. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. So when you look at like a Tyler Perry, right? Because obviously I feel like you're probably on one accord, and please correct me if I'm wrong, as we are, but don't have a problem. I don't want to say we don't have a problem. We respect some of the leading black male roles that put on dresses, your Jamie Foxxes, your Martins, your Tyler Perrys, but we don't agree with that. Like, that's not something as males we can sit back and go, acting or not, that's not something we'll do. But do you look at a Tyler Perry who's created a whole empire out in Atlanta from putting on a dress, employing blacks and things like that, giving more opportunities. So what's your perspective on that? How do you feel? But not necessarily Tyler Perry in particular, but the whole black male in a dress and opportunities and things like that.
See, I think that concept of the dress is something that I would not do personally. I think it's about emasculating the male personally. That's what I think it is. You know what I mean? I think there's a reason why they want this particular character in a dress. That's what I feel like. But what I can say about that is this. I think it's a beautiful thing that he employs blacks and gives these opportunities. I just think that some opportunities is best to be waited for. Sometimes some things are just not right for me. Some things that other people would accept, I will not accept. I think that we need to show black men with strength, because it takes a lot to be a black man in this nation. And a lot of times we're beaten down at the job, we're beaten down at home, we're beaten down in Hollywood at our description, we're beaten down in the media. I think that, and then the dress doesn't seem like an answer or alternative to that. To me, it seems like that if you look at a lot of times whenever I see scripts, and I have no problem with people who are homosexuality or alternative or whatever like that. It's just not particularly my thing. So it doesn't really fall into my mind state much. But a lot of times when I notice there is an opportunity in the role in a film, sometimes it's for a black flamboyant man. That's when that role comes about, because there's a role, like a rule now that has to be reflected on TV, that you got to have a certain amount of each type of role, different diversities or whatever like that. So, but when that role comes about, I notice that role is black. And I think even that's for a reason. I think that's just like to paint some type of narrative or to get people, because a lot of things is people don't understand how much you are influenced by the TV. You know what I mean? I got people in my family, they call it television. You know what I mean? Because it's telling you, like a lot of the media is just paid for. Like some of the narratives are not the best, and it's depicted to be a certain way, to have people have a certain mind state. That's why when we are killed, there's not so much of an outcry other than from us. You know what I mean? Because like the whole world is desensitized to who we are as people because of how we are depicted. The easiest way to destroy your group is first throw out some propaganda on that group and then destroy it.
Yep. Definitely. Same thing that happened with the Jews, same thing that happened with us. That's what we always talk about here on music, as well as some of the things, the messages that go on in music. Let's talk a little bit of hip hop, if you may. What do you think about the message right now in mainstream hip hop and its correlation to, what's going on in the streets, the murder, pregnancy and all that? What's your thoughts on that?
See, what I think of it right now, I think is that really there is no message. I think that's half of what's wrong with the earth right now. Because if you think about it, music is one of the most powerful things that we have on the planet, whether you think about it or not, because there's certain sounds, vibrations that's carried through music. It affects your brainwave activity, it affects your mood, it affects your heart rate, it affects everything. So with there not being a message, or well, actually, I would say there is a message. The message that's being given right now is not positive. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna front when I listen to music. Music is not positive, but I like the way it sounds. I like the beat of it or whatever, but there's nothing positive in it. It's kind of like what I listen to at the crib and how people are at my crib, you know what I mean? Or where I'm from in New York, you know what I mean? Because I'm a New Yorker, I listen to certain type of music. I listen to Rick Ross, and Rick Ross is one hell of a rapper, but what is his message? You know what I mean? So we don't, all the flyest rappers, like we got Kendrick Lamar, who gives a message about like black culture, black things, like black culture and different things like that. So basically a lot of other things are just not being able to go the way I think it needs to go. Like we got Kendrick Lamar, got J. Cole, we got who else we got? We got Common, what he used to be. You know what I mean? Even he's, to gain more success, it seemed like he made a change in his music. He went from it just being common sense to deliver the message to the next thing talking about go. She was a dancer, had a hemmed up with a, you know what I mean? It just became something different. You know what I mean? And then that made him more success. So I think that without that message, I think like Grandma 30 right now, you know what I mean? Ain't no big mamas no more. So there's no message for this girl. The girls are following Nicki Minaj. They following Megan Thee Stallion, and all they talking about is how they join is give me some money for it. So like I think that music is very corruptive in nature. You know what I mean? At least the way it's being delivered now. There is some good music as well, but most people find that corny, depending on what your lifestyle is.
Now, a lot of people will say that's only in our genre. Only in hip hop will you see that. Now, do you think there's a message in that too? A strong message being sent in that as well?
What, in hip hop?
Yeah, that it's only hip hop that you see the negativity highlighted. So, you know what I mean? So like it's the lavish thing to do, the hyposexualization of the females, the killing and the drug use with the males and females. This is what gets promoted. This is what gets highlighted. This is what gets paid when it comes to the art. But you don't see that in other genres.
Yeah, it does exist in other genres. Not as far as the murdering and the depiction and stuff like that. But as far as hyposexualization, that's in every genre. If you look at some cowboy movie, cowboy music or whatever like that, there is some girl maybe has implants or whatever the heck she got going on or whatever she got going on. Some lazy dukes because they're not quite Daisy Dukes because she don't have no behind. And she's smiling, doing whatever she doing, you know, whatever like that. That's in every genre. But our genre seems like to be the most corrupt, and that's also because it's not controlled by us. You know what I mean? It's not controlled by us. So people who want these narratives painted and want these depictions, like want the same status quo that's been going on forever. Like you want to be seen a certain way. They want you to be a thug. Because after you become being a thug, or if you're successful being a thug, where you going to get taken to? Jail. In jail, what are you taken down to become? A slave.
Yeah.
That's what they want you to be. Jail. Getting 10 cents a day. I don't care what you call it. I don't care that they decided to pay you. That's slavery work. Period. They're not giving you no good thing to do. There's people in jail who do jobs in jail that are facilitated in jail, where if they came out and did that same job, they could be making close to 80,000, 100,000 a year. But in jail under that particular guise, because prisons is big business, they don't make any money whatsoever. So that's slavery to me. So I think that each genre has bad or negative depictions, because you got heavy metal, you got whatever. They sometimes have satanic themes or whatever it is they got going on. But I think our genre the most seem like the most corrupted and doesn't speak to socially what's going on. You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, we got us being murdered, killed, shot like dogs in the street. Then the music that come on behind it is I'm gonna shoot you like a dog in the street right behind it. Like, yo, son, you want to put a clip out, lay it out. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy, dog. I think that we don't use the power that we have in our platforms.
When you think about snitch culture in hip hop, we see a guy like Tekashi 6ix9ine that's running the streets rampant. And I went out on a limb and called him an agent provocateur. You know what I mean? Pretty much trying to get people indicted with this type of stuff that he's doing. What do you think about the snitch culture and 6ix9ine? Him, you know, snitching and coming back in hip hop is still being a provocateur to different groups and people.
You see what I think, if you think about the concept of that, right? Like snitch culture, first of all, I'm not with no snitching and all that stuff like that, period. You know what I mean? Because I grew up like that's not how I was raised. But what you got to think about what he actually is, he is a facilitator. For him to be able to do that and be able to still participate in everything he participates in, cat did no jail time. I don't care how much snitching you do, period. You can snitch on whatever. You still a participant in everything that went on and you receive nothing. So you bigger than the snitch. You got a priority upon you as far as you're needed. Like if you think about like this, if I correlate it to this is what I'm gonna say, and it's gonna sound odd, it's gonna sound off, but it is not really, if you think about it. Every political leader we've ever had that was black, that's trying to push a platform, right? Got what? What did he receive?
Funding.
Death.
Oh yeah, death. Yeah.
Assassinated, right? So what does it mean when you got some that don't?
They gotta be working.
If the two rawest ones we had that had any similarity to you got murked and you still sitting and talking, what does that mean?
Right.
That's the way I think about it. I don't care how people try to paint it and people can have a good platform. You can be talking great things about uplifting the people and all that stuff, but what makes you exempt and these other two people not? So that's what I think of it is, and that people could take it was for what it was, like a conspiracy theory about everything. I just see things different, like outside of the lines. Tekashi 6ix9ine is one of the weird.